Today is an exciting day because we might be purchasing a Brompton. It would be great for us to have the flexibility of just folding the bike up, putting it in the car, and then off we go to make some more bike tour videos just for you. But before we make the purchase, we want to know the pros and cons of owning a Brompton. Why should I buy this Brompton?
Well, you're not going to buy this one because this is the deficit. But the reason to buy a Brompton is because it's a great riding bike that folds up really small and is super easy to transport by any other form of transport that you want to transport it. Bus, train, plane, you name it. It's easy to take a Brompton with you.
Do they last? Are they well made?
You know that Bromptons are really sturdy bikes.
If you register with Brompton, you have a warranty that lasts for 7 years, which is a really good long time. It shows they stand behind their product. I mean, they have a really long life and a lot of durability.
Good to know. Some excellent information. I like that. What are the cons of a Brompton?
The cons, if you're looking to go for a 100-mile ride, it's probably not your first choice of a bike to do that with. You can do it, but there are other bikes that are better suited for really long rides. And it's also not something that you're going to be loading up and carrying like 6 weeks of camping gear on it. It's just not designed for that kind of thing.
What about rough roads?
It's not great on like really rough like dirt trails and rutted things like that, but anything that's paved or good packed dirt, as long as it hasn't been raining a lot, is perfectly fine.
What about speed? Is that a con?
You're gonna go roughly the same speed that you will on a regular bike. If you're on a long, steady ride where you're not stopping a lot, you're probably gonna be slightly slower than you would be on a conventional bike. If you're going somewhere where you're starting and stopping a lot, like you're riding in traffic in the city, you're actually gonna be a little faster because the small wheels accelerate quicker.
Are there parts in the bike that are more susceptible to braking, or that we should be more concerned about on a Brompton?
Not really. There's a few things that we've noticed over time will possibly cause some issues. This part here will get loose. That's part of what holds the bike together when it's folded. That over time will develop some play and might need to be adjusted or replaced.
So should I buy the Brompton?
I think the Brompton is really an engineering marvel. Andrew Ritchie, the man who designed it, I think was a genius. He looked at existing folding bikes and saw what worked and what didn't work and came up with a really brilliant design. You have the M-type handlebar, the S-type, and the H-type.
Oh.
Basically, it's medium height, low, and high. The M and the H look alike because they use the same handlebar, but this port is different. This is shorter on this bike than it is on that bike. If you look, you can see.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference between those. And that is the most important thing to figure out which works for you.
Yes.
Is which handlebar, because you can't easily change them after the fact. So you really want to get this right the first time.
Does it come down to how tall you are, or what does it come down to?
It's a combination of your height and your personal preference in terms of what kind of position you want to ride in. Taller riders tend to gravitate towards the higher handlebars, but riders that like to ride more aggressively, they're used to road bikes, whatever, might lean towards the lower bar. So it's just a little bit of both, a little bit of rider preference and height. And the best thing is just try them and see which works best for you.
Oh boy, so this is big. We have to decide what kind of handlebars we want. M style, S style, H style. You got to make a decision.
Yes.
Which one are you going to go
I
for?
favor that one.
All right, do you want to give it a shot?
Sure.
How's your feeling riding on it? Since it's your first time riding a Brompton.
It was good. It was stable. It was good.
We have some decisions to make.
How much do you care about having the rear rack on the bike? And let me explain the rear rack a little bit.
All right.
So this bike has the rear rack. It gives you a place to carry some stuff. However, when you go to fold the bike, whatever's on there has to come off. I don't use my rack a lot for carrying stuff, but it does make the bike a little more stable when it's folded. And when you fold it up the rest of the way, it's going to roll really well on those 4 rollers.
Yes.
It rolls so well, in fact, I have to put a little plastic stopper at the bottom of the seat post to act as a parking brake so it doesn't roll away when you don't want it to.
I see.
The one without the rack, you'll see it's just a rear fender back here. And for that, when you fold it, like I said, it's a little tippier. And also, when you go to roll it, there's only the one roller on the fender, and these 2 rollers here. It doesn't roll as well on that fender wheel. What I always recommend is that you tip it up like that and just roll it on the 2 main wheels.
Right, like that.
Yeah.
It works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how much you think you're going to want to roll it versus not.
Do we want a rear rack on the back of the bike? So what's the damage?
The handlebar doesn't affect the price. What affects the price is whether or not you get one that's got some titanium in the frame, how many gears it has, whether or not it has a rear rack on it, and color sometimes. There are certain colors that are a premium charge.
Colors?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And the most important decision, What color do we want?
The expensive colors are about $250 more than the regular color.
Red and blue, right?
Nope,
Yes.
no, the reason they're more expensive is because they're basically a clear coat that's got a color tint to it, and you can see the joinery of the frame more clearly. And they've only got certain people at the factory that are certified to build those frames.
Yeah, of course, that's what I
Yep.
want. I want that one.
Of course that's what you want.
Should we buy the Brompton?
Well, it's a good question.
There's several decisions that we have to make before we purchase the Brompton.
I want it now. Don't care how. I want it now.
Here it is. Here's our new Brompton. So we paid about $2,000 for this bike. We chose the H-style handlebars. We did rule out the back rack and opted for a front bag right here. And then change out the seat for something more softer and cushier for the butt. And the most important decision we chose was the color red. We are good to go. So subscribe and see our Brompton bike tour adventures. Hope to see you riding.